Have you ever wondered what goes on behind the scenes of making a Going Deeper? Well, in this episode, you'll find out.
Boston had a condition called uveitis, so he had his first eye removed.
I'll show you some of my favorite pictures and some of my favorite animals. Do you ever feel you're more connected to animals than people? In this Going Deeper, it's going to be a little bit different. Some people have asked a few questions about me and behind the scenes. So we're going to learn about Bones, Sandy, and the whole production team. That includes video, sound, photo, the person who plans it, the person who does everything. Yep. And we are going to see some never before seen footage, and maybe we'll get inside here a little bit too. I hope that you enjoy. Leave a comment, subscribe, share. Have a good one. The camouflage worked really well. Couldn't see it. Left without it. Yes, sometimes I'm a little forgetful. But once I get to that spot, I often have some pretty cool memories or footage. I've been pretty fortunate in my life to experience some awesome things. Oftentimes people ask how close I get to the animals or where I go to see them. I try not to get too close to them, but sometimes the animal gets close to me. And my goal is honestly just to watch them in their natural habitat, just doing their own thing. Here you can see some barred owls just chilling. They are babies. If you want to know more, there's more footage on almost every animal that I'm going to show here. But with owls being one of my favorite animals that I can see locally, I decided that it would be pretty cool to take my wildlife club that I'm starting to go and try to find a snowy owl. So in January of 2024, we're going to go on an owl hunt and see how many owls we can find. Hopefully we see one, maybe we see two, maybe we get lucky and we find an owl pellet and we can take it apart. Have you ever looked inside an owl pellet? Do you know how many bones are inside there? Let's meet the team behind Jason George Photography. The voice is Jason George. The newest addition to our team is our sound guy, and he was brought in for African Cats. He's pretty good. I like his music. Leave a note and let us know what you think. Yeah, you might have seen this guy before, but he's pretty hard working. And then one of the most important parts of the team is Paul. He's attached to the GoPro, and that's a Hero 3 that we use normally. We also have our video editor. Man, he's got a tough job. So we've got an hour of footage, give or take, that we've got to go through. Maybe we should go and check the Natural History Museum while we have a moment. Oh. We're learning about the piping plovers and the JGP prowl. Hold on one sec. Wow, there's so many cool things. A book from 1910? Skulls, bones, antlers. There's so many awesome things up here. But we've got to go behind the scenes still and see. Yeah, that's right. All the photos that I give out are actually hand-signed by me. And then I have to put a sticker on the back, and it's more work than a lot of people think, but it's actually kind of fun. And normally I watch a video and listen to music and just zone out and just sign photos, hundreds at a time. My products are getting pretty cool, and I hired some bodyguards to prep my packages when they get delivered to me. But can you guess what's in it? Yeah, that's right. It's book 2 and 3 from the Going Deeper series. Book 1 was foxes. Now we have moose, cheetah. I'm working on penguins, and then we're going to do owls And I try to compare the differences and teach you a whole bunch of things. And the J.G. Prowl gets a shout out in the book. Here's the store that I actually have. It's kind of small because a lot of the stuff I do is outside, leading tours and doing presentations.
Oh, I do tours for less mobile and lazy people too.
I've been asked to save a couple animals in my life. One of the coolest one was this loon, and I'm pretty sure he says thank you as he hits the water. First time he made any noise while we were there. And then there was the sandhill crane that I saved. That's a pretty cool bird. And then, of course, there's Pole. Pole's so important and really tough to use, especially you have the GoPro Hero 3, because there's no screen on the back. But sometimes my footage turns out really well. I've now updated to a Hero 9, but most of my current footage is shot with the Hero 3. Honestly, sometimes I catch some awesome moments. Other times I catch some really funny moments. But whenever I'm having a bad day, I turn to Mother Nature to try to cheer me up. At the same time, when I'm having a good day, I turn to Mother Nature to make it a better day. And she never, ever fails. Have you ever turned to Mother Nature when you're having that bad day? One day I witnessed one of the coolest things. A baby loon actually hatching in front of my eyes. What's crazier is earlier that day, I watched a raven actually break an egg and take a loon from that egg. Nature is beautiful. You never know what you're going to see. When I stop at the visitor center, though, I always go and check out the bookstore. That's because they have my book. And I do try to support the artists that share their work there. It's a great place. One of the things that I love to do is actually go and do presentations about my wildlife. So I'll go to different Probus groups, youth groups, old folks' homes, and I'll try to share my passion with them. Sometimes we talk about my goals and aspirations, like trying to milk a cow or fly a plane, or we talk about me being dyslexic and not saying my first word until I was 4. Or I'm just sharing my games and my love of Mother Nature with others.
You see Chloe?
I adopt animals for kids sometimes.
Cheese, do you like your new book?
As a kid, my favorite animal was a cheetah. In 2009, I got to see one chase a Thompson gazelle. And then in 2023, I got to track one. And that's not the coolest device I've held in my hand. That's probably a walking stick. Seeing a cheetah chase was cool. Walking in on 3 cheetahs? Oh my God, I love you, Henry. That was much cooler. Remember, tomorrow's not promised, so make the most of every opportunity that you get. It's one of the ways that I live my life by. Sometimes, not gonna lie, it's a little bit scary, but most of the time it's worth it. Even when that head pops up from the grass. But the one thing that most people don't realize about me is I'm actually terrified of animals. So doing all of this stuff actually terrifies me. But I think the animals know that, so they're like, well, I'm gonna come close and see Jay. And it's created some amazing experiences. Like with this leopard that I spent 7 minutes in heaven. You can notice that its dots are different than the cheetah's. It has rosettes, not dots like the cheetah. That's one way. And its head is bigger. And this thing at one point was maybe a car length from us. And that is actually quite terrifying. But it's not even close to the most terrifying thing that happened to me on this trip, and maybe in my life. Yeah, I was sitting in South Africa after this leopard experience, and I was hoping to see a baboon. But it wasn't one baboon that I saw. It was about 100 of them. and one of them came running towards me. But I have this weird feeling in my back that goes off when something bad happens to me. Ever since that time I was in the Amazon jungle and got healed by this shaman and his buddy. Yeah, that's a story for another day. And maybe I'll tell you if you ask. Ever since then, I get this feeling in my back when something bad's about to happen. I don't fully understand it, but I know it helps me, so I just go with it. And on that trip, I got to do something really cool with a penguin, which was snorkeling with one. And I honestly thought that was going to be probably the coolest thing I ever did with a penguin until 2023 happened. And I got to save a penguin. Grabbing that penguin, it was so cool. It was soft but solid. It was just this giant ball of muscle. And it was lost and we think tired. So we put it in a box and we called the locals to check it out. And then it got released and got to be back with its friends, which is the goal of any rescue, is for them to be released. I'm also not a huge fan of swimming like in a pool or a lake, but you put me in salt water with a snorkel and goggles so that I can see underwater, and I can spend all day in the water. Here's a 7-gill shark, and it's pretty cool. I've also gone cage diving with great white sharks and bronze whalers. Though prefer snorkeling, but sometimes with those larger predators, you need to have the safety of the cage. But here you can see an eagle ray with a huge tail as I'm swimming with it off the coast of Jamaica. That's where my parents are from, and I love going to visit Jamaica. Have you ever been to Jamaica? Recently, I actually got to go to a place called Trenchtown, and I did a presentation for the less fortunate kids in that community. Another fear I have is entering dark spaces. So one way I try to conquer that is by going snorkeling at nighttime. I don't know if that's working, just like me getting in a plane for my fear of heights. But it's so cool what comes out at nighttime. Yes, you can probably tell that I like to try new and different things. So one thing I've tried recently is electric fishing. And it's not like the comic books or jokes have showed us. It's actually pretty cool and educational.
Anyways, let me just bring up our next performer. He's an amazing photographer. I might throw him under the bus and say that this is his first time up here. So let's give a big round of applause for Jason George.
Sometimes I think I'm funny, so I wanted to try stand-up comedy.
Can't go to the beach today. Might as well hang out in the pond.
I also love playing sports. When I went to Teachers College in Scotland, I actually won the Scottish Cup with the Paisley Blackhawks. I've also played a game called Australian Rules Football, and I played for Team Canada. And back when I was in university, maybe I did a little bit of dance once or twice. Yes, I actually do really enjoy dance. Although this was a choreographed dance, you'll normally see me bumping my head or shaking my bum when there's a song with a good beat. Because why not dance and shake your moneymaker? Well, in this dance, it was for my graduating class in 4th year university, and we had to create a dance. And I cut out all the parts that were kind of embarrassing for other people, and I'm only showing you the clips that I'm in. Being a little adventurous, sometimes I like to try some fun and crazy moves. Luckily, this partner of mine was down for trying it. His name is Xavier, and we tried a move that you definitely should not try unless you are a trained professional. We tried this a whole bunch of times, and it never went as well as it did on this day. Except when we were done, I was really tired and he sort of choked me out, and I almost hit that really expensive screen in the back. That would have been really embarrassing. Did you like the move? Yeah, I know, I'm a little bit different than most people. That's probably why I react differently in certain situations. Like here, instead of screaming and getting the mink out, I ran for my camera and made a video of the mink eating my fish and planned a way to get better and build it so that he couldn't get there. Do you have any clue what that is? Well, on a recent trip in 2023, I went to Jamaica to help the critically endangered hawk-billed turtles. And I didn't give up, and on the last night of my trip, I actually got to see a mother laying eggs. And then I got to see the babies coming out of the sand. And the coolest part is I actually got to swim with the babies. There's a video if you want to check that out. That's a pretty cool experience, getting to swim with baby sea turtles. I've swam with big ones, but babies? Just before I started teaching, I did something that was kind of fun and on my list of goals. It was to be on the cover of a magazine. That magazine wasn't maybe the magazine I expected, but it was still a fun experience and I was able to do it. Have you ever been on the cover of a magazine? Do you have any goals in life that you want to try to complete? Have you completed any? I remember in 2006 I created this list, and every day I do try to work towards those. One thing that is tough about being a wildlife photographer though is sometimes I see these really cool moments and I capture them, and then I try to figure out what to do with them. And sometimes I'm taking pictures when I should have been taking videos, and the cycle just continues. Sometimes it's really stressful. Sometimes it's a lot of fun. There's been some amazing moments, that's for sure. And I do hope that you've enjoyed them.
That was kind of fun, sharing with you, getting inside my head. I hope that you've enjoyed and maybe learned a little bit more about me and the production and why I do what I do.
I want to capture footage of all the animals on the planet. Even the ones that maybe you don't want to see or smell. I want to see those unique ones, those special ones, those rare ones. Like this melanistic red fox is beautiful. It's probably my favorite red fox that I've ever seen. This or the cross fox that I saw in Thunder Bay. Those are probably my two favorites. I love how unique and different they are. Have you ever seen one like this? Yeah, that's right, a red fox. You know what they look like. They look like this guy. And they have red hair, black hair, and some white hair. Just the melanistic one has more black hair. Just like some people are a little bit darker than other people. Yeah, but we're all still beautiful. Don't you agree? Wouldn't you love to see a fox like this? Sometimes you see some bigger black animals, and they're a little bit scary. And you need to make sure that you keep your distance because they could hurt you. This is a black bear, and he's looking for some food. I kept my distance and just let him be. I haven't seen many bears or otters, and they both really fascinate me. I hope to see more of them soon. But you know what's cooler than seeing one bear? It's actually seeing two bears. It's even better if one of them's a little baby bear. Well, I hope you've enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, have fun, stay safe, and keep enjoying the wildlife.